Get in, loser. We're finally becoming that girl. Hello, everybody, and welcome to my first official YouTube video, which feels very strange because I'm more used to doing podcasts, but I'm very excited. Now, I definitely encourage you to take out a notepad, get something to write on, because these are one of those videos where you see 1,000 of them. You see so many videos on manifesting your dream life and becoming that girl, how to glow up, blah, blah, blah. You watch it and you move on with the same life, right? So get out your notepad or do it in your notes app, whatever you prefer, but make sure that you actually watch it and take something away from it and do something different. We've all heard those things about change your life in 30 days, change your life in a year, 6 months, whatever it is, which is very doable and which is what we're aiming to do. But the truth actually is we can always change our lives in one day, in a split second. I believe it's Tony Robbins that says that change happens in an instant because it's in the actual moment that we make that decision and we say, enough is enough. This is not who I want to be anymore. I want to change. Do you wake up in that instant and you've either lost 100 pounds or you are that person? No. But so many times we spend 10 years or more until we get to that point where we finally feel like enough is enough, I cannot do this anymore, and we finally shift and we finally change. Now, I need this to be the moment for you because I'm literally sitting in what I'm going to be wearing for New Year's Eve, and I'm about to leave in about an hour, and I really wanted to get this done for myself as well before the new year because I just feel like I want this energy and take it with me into the new year, you know what I mean? And be ready for myself as well for the new year. Now, the problem often is with these goals, right? We create these yearly goals and really they seem quite overwhelming because we don't actually break them down. Because the truth is we use them as a quick dopamine hit that we can release so we can feel better about ourselves. It's a false way of pretending that we've actually achieved these amazing goals. But have we actually? No, we haven't achieved anything, but we get that false sense of confidence. We get that sense of achievement like we actually have. Now, I do want to preface this by saying I'll be doing a longer podcast on this on my podcast called This Is Called Healing, because on there I do enjoy to go into details and depth and tools and talking about myself and my own life, the way that I'm doing things and learning things, and overall just ramble a little bit more, which I feel is more appropriate. But I really just want this video to be more specific and just give you the lowdown and the baseline that you can use for your own life and even go back to and take notes and then go create an amazing life. But I do recommend the podcast as well, which I will record in a couple of days because I do think it's important to get the details and to almost like a friend you talk to about who's doing this as well, about what needs to be done and the progress and stuff like that. So stay tuned. And I will, of course, put all the info in the description box for that. So this is going to be a process, but guess what? Life is a process. It's progress, hopefully. That's how you change your actual life, right? I personally lost and maintained a 50-pound plus weight loss. Guess how I maintained it? I made it part of my identity. Who I am now wouldn't have existed if I didn't finally get to the point about 9 or 10 years ago where I was like, enough is enough. Guess what? It was a freaking journey of ups and downs. But at this point, I am so sure of who I am when it comes to my fitness and my body and my health that I no longer feel the need to deal with life the same way I used to when I was pretty overweight. So the best thing to do is essentially to create a new character for you to step into. And anyone can watch and use this, but I have made it especially for the girlies because I don't know if you've ever heard of 75 hard, but we are going to do 75 her. I have personally done 75 hard or live hard, which is a year-long program before, and I did that in 2022. It was one of the most amazing things I've ever done. However, it's very obvious when you follow the program that it is more biased, I guess, towards guys. And I think it's important for anyone to do to create discipline in your life. But it just feels like for women, when you want to be in your feminine or you want to be in alignment with your goals and not always just push, especially if you also want to see a change in your romantic life. If you're that much in your masculine energy and you're constantly pushing, I don't think you're going to be as receptive as you need to be. And again, it's a great program. Did it myself, would do it again. But I do think that these change of rules will be great for women. And I think also what's great about it is the fact that you're meant to personalize it. Now, the first thing that I need you to do, no matter what, and I don't want you to overthink this, I need you to get a blank piece of paper and do a total brain dump. You need to just start writing, and whatever comes to you just needs to come out. Maybe you're really overwhelmed, or maybe it's all of the goals that you have for 2024, or maybe it's everything you've experienced in 2023. I just need you to write out anything that comes up for you, and you can start out by deciding that you want it to be about your 2024 goals, but maybe it just becomes everything you know you need to do within the first month or whatever it is. Just whatever keeps coming to you, write it out. And I'm telling you, just like when you do a really great and hard workout, you have a lot more space to breathe after. So whenever I feel like I have a really big decision or I feel overwhelmed, doing this just helps me so much. And then the second and very important thing is doing a serious life audit. I talked about this on TikTok, and it's something that can be so eye-opening and so scary to do as well, because you see your life in front of you. You literally see your own objective view of your life, and when you're in it, it can be so hard to objectively see things, but all of a sudden it's in front of you and you can't deny the way that you've just audited your life, the way you've just rated your life. And there's just so much power in that, because from that space, you can either choose to say, I'm going to be sad and I'm going to feel like a victim, or I can rise up and I can say, no longer who I want to be, this is who I'm going to become now. And it is exactly what it sounds like. You're literally gonna take every section of your life and you're gonna rate it. You're gonna audit it. You're gonna see in front of you what you do on a daily basis and how you feel about it. And another way that you can do that is by using what's called the life wheel. And it's essentially the same thing you're doing, so you don't have to do both if you don't want to. Maybe someone just likes a more visual representation or to add it in. But essentially what it is you have a wheel and you draw in for 10 or so different sections of your life. You start drawing in, like literally you're filling out the wheel and you're seeing how fulfilled you are in each section. And again, it's pretty rare that you're super fulfilled in every single area or in no area. Like you're just 0 or 10. Like usually that's not how it is. But for me, it was really scary to see that I was between 1 and like 3, 4-ish in total. I didn't even score a 5. Like I didn't give myself a 5 on any area of my life. Like that's not how I want my life to be, obviously, and I don't think that you do either. So that's what you're going to do first off, because it's really important that you face your reality, because that's what's going to push you to make that decision. I needed to look myself in the mirror one day and say, holy shit, that's not who I want to be. I don't want to not be able to wear what I want to wear. I don't want to get into my 20s and hate my life and my body, because I spent so much of my life feeling just sad and lonely because I genuinely did not like the way I looked. So I had so many insecurities. One day I decided enough is enough. It's not who I want to be. Did I have every single thing mapped out? No. But I had made the decision, and it's very funny because once you make a full decision where you say, can't do it anymore, something, I want to say magical happens, but also there's so much resilience within you. And it's so powerful because when you discover that within yourself in any area, you start to realize, oh, I have a lot of power in my life. And that's obviously really powerful. So keep that in mind, please. And also, you've probably experienced that in your own life. So maybe reflect on that. Like, when have I just made a really powerful decision? When have I really realized the agency that I have in my own life? And maybe you genuinely feel like, I can't remember the last time I've ever done that. Then this can be that first freaking time for you. And I will put a full list of the questions you need to audit your life in the comment section. And I will also put a link to a life audit. And I will also put a link to a life wheel that you can do, of course. Sorry, I have my computer in front of me so I can see my notes, because the thing I can tell you I will be working on is being more organized, because let me tell you, your girl gets a lot of ideas, a lot of creative ideas, and I take a lot of notes. I journal and channel a lot of ideas for myself, but it gets overwhelming because it just overflows and then I don't know what to do with it. That was a side note. 2 more steps we need to do before we get into creating a new character for ourselves for 2024, the year of our best glow ups. And let me tell you, I need it, because 2023 was just full of BS and dating the wrong guy, which just makes you feel more ugly and bloated and bad and awful about everything. So, looking forward to a thriving single era. That was a side note. Oh, another thing I need you to do, and this is a pretty quick thing, or it can be as well. I need you to look at 2023, if you didn't already do it in your brain dump. But very specifically, I need you to look back on the year, or even further back, just the first thing that kind of comes to you, and recognize one thing that you did really well, something that you're really proud of, or maybe it's even a quality about yourself, something you realized about yourself or in your life where you were like, really did that. I really accomplished that. I'm really proud of myself. Or sometimes it's the resilience of getting through something. Like, I can come up with at least 5 things for myself, even though I feel like I have so much I want to change and I feel awful about a lot of things. I just feel really proud of myself for so many things as well. And that just makes you feel like, damn, I actually am kind of a bad bitch. And also, I can do a lot of incredible things and I can get through a lot of things. And because we're so focused on getting through it, we don't realize until we're like far on the other side of it just how capable we are. So that is an important thing to do. Now, a physical thing I'm going to need you to do, and I'm still in the middle of it, and that's why January for me is kind of like going to be my only, or so far my only, isolation month, and then it's going to be way more social in the rest of the year, because I need to kind of like take some space to really focus and just really hone in on what I need to do. Granted, I need to write 2 exams, and I have an internship and a job in January as well, so I need to be focused. However, we all collectively, and I know, listen, I see you. You need to do this too, and you know you do. You need to declutter. And when I say declutter, I don't mean decluttering in the way that you've done it every other time, where you spend an entire day going through your closet and doing a bit of vacuuming, but really all you're doing is going through all your old memories, looking through pictures, listening to music. It can be great, and I need you to be listening to music or a great podcast, and I need you to take time. But you are not gonna get rid of 10%. There is no way. I have gone through my closet 3 times for the last couple of months, and I have probably gotten rid of 2 bags of clothes, and that's it. And I know that there's so much more for me to get rid of. So I need you to go through not only your closet, but your fridge, your cabinets. If you live on your own like me, you need to go through everything. And it is so powerful, because as you're doing it and as you're willing to say, is this something that I would keep for years? Is this something that represents not only me, but who I want to be? If it's not, but I feel called to still keep it because maybe one day I could fit into it, or maybe one day I'll gain weight, or, for other things, like maybe I'll still use it. What is the reason you think you're going to use it? What fear is really holding you back there, right? So you need to learn how to figure out what's actually making you hold on and stay attached. Because I know for me, attachment is a huge issue. I will stay stuck in situations for way longer than I need to, because I'm scared to put in the work, because I don't actually believe that I can do it. I'm also going to need you, and this takes a while, to go through your pictures on your phone and on your laptop if you have all your screenshots. Why do we take so many screenshots on our laptop? I mean, seriously. you are going to section it off or delete it. You're going to go through your apps and you're going to organize that shit. You're going to get a new wallpaper, background, whatever. I'm going to need you to be decluttered and organized, okay? So overall, you need to take the time. And that's why I'm saying take January if you need to like be your month of focus where you really have decided and now you're putting in the work. Don't make it like a quick thing because you're not going to stick with it. And I need you to believe that if you dare to let go, like really let go and say, I believe that I can let go of these things because it's not who I want to be. I trust that the universe will bring me new and better and what does resonate and align with me. But we obviously need to trust that by doing that work. And we need to be intentional and we need to act in accordance with that girl or woman that we actually want to be first. All right. Now that we've gone through that, the really maybe more fun stuff is the character we're designing. Now, I said this is a challenge called 75 Her. So I'm first going to give you the absolute non-negotiable rules for these 75 days. And then we're going to get into some more stuff on becoming her. And I will put a list beneath in the comments as well that you can see with the rules so you can just copy them. But I do encourage you obviously to listen to this. And I will also be posting about 75 Her a lot more throughout the year and also on my podcast in depth. And what's so funny is I've always felt like motivated by someone like David Goggins, Andy Frisella, who originally did this challenge. And I like that hard stuff. But I also feel called to be softer and to learn more about my feminine energy and to be more in that energy. And I do believe that's more what us women are meant to be. And that's just how I believe. So like one thing for me is I'm actually going to be having 2 alarms. This is not a rule, by the way, just something I want to say for me. I'm going to be having 2 alarms. The first is I actually have a new like light that turns on 30 minutes before, and I can link it below as well. And it turns on 30 minutes before you wake up, and it has like nice little calming sounds, and you wake up more natural and better. But then if I don't wake up, then I have my second alarm, which is David Goggins yelling at me. So like I can't fully ever let go of that hard stuff, you know? Anyways, the rules are as following. We need to drink a minimum of 2.5 liters per day. That is a lot less than the gallon of water. Whenever I've had a gallon of water, my life is not fun. But I obviously did it because it was a part of the challenge. And the reason why we need to get 2.5 liters is because 2 liters is usually what's recommended. So I just thought we should up it a little bit. And also I think it's really important that we look at how many other kinds of drinks that we are consuming so that we can actually see, well, if I switch from that to water, flavored water, to spice that up, to do maybe sparkling water and add some lemon, cucumber, mint, some fun stuff to that, then we'll probably realize that we could be drinking more water. It's just the fact that we're drinking so many other things that we feel like it's a lot to get the water on top of that. And also, I will say, if you work out pretty hard, you're probably going to be drinking more, and you should be drinking more, okay? Talking to you. Now for the workout part, this is also technically a lot easier. You just need to be moving for 30 minutes a day. It can be a walk, a run, yoga, going to the gym, whatever it is. Most likely, you're probably going to do some days where you're just walking for 30 minutes. But there will also be days, probably and hopefully, where you're going to the gym or you're doing something else that you maybe get back into and that you learn that you really enjoy. And you're going to be doing it for longer than that. For me personally, I'm going to be starting a new fitness program because I really want to build more strength because I have an injury that flared back up this year. So I need to be doing that, and I will be doing that. Because like I said, all of our goals are different. Like for me, I just want to see a genuine like toned and muscle transformation in my body, and I have a real health thing with my injury in my lower back that I want to finally see get so much better. So that is why that makes more sense for me. Maybe it's been so long since you've worked out that you can't even fathom how to do it or to get back into it or find time for it. So maybe your thing is just making the morning your time to go out for a walk, or maybe at night after dinner. then I'm going to need you, and this could be the hardest rule of them all for some, I'm not going to need you to read 10 pages a day. I'm going to need you to read a book a week. And I will be starting kind of like a self-development book club, I guess you could call it. I'll probably talk about it on the pod, but also a lot on TikTok. So I think it's really empowering to read the same books and to talk about these books and talk about what you're learning, because the essential part I'm going to need you to do is to learn something and to implement it. And I don't know about you, but I kept reading 10 pages in one book and then another, and I rarely finished a lot of books on 75 Hard. So honestly, you can choose any length. You can choose an audiobook if you want. I actually don't care about that. You can choose any kind of book. Maybe you've just really been wanting to get back into the joy of reading. So maybe you have a stack of fiction books that you want to read again and get inspired and feel creative. Then I want you to do that. So you can do any kind of book you want. But it's also about learning just how much time we are often wasting and thinking, I couldn't possibly do this. But how much time, and we've heard this so many times, how much time are we actually spending on Netflix and on TikTok and like scrolling and doing all that BS, right? So this is about really empowering ourselves to saying, no, I want to grow and learn more this year, and I want to be really present and intentional with what I'm doing. Now, the next rule is very important to do on the first day, because otherwise you fail. You need to, on the first day, make a vision board for yourself. Yes, you do. Now, the other thing you need to do after you've made this is you need to look at it daily. And not just look at it, but you need to look at it. You know what I mean? You need to look and you need to visualize. Why did I put these things on here? Am I getting closer day by day? Like, you need to be haunting your own ass with this. Like, you need to be able to look at it and feel it and visualize it and go there. Like, this is a more manifestation and law of attraction thing. But I think so often, like I do this myself, I go on Pinterest and I feel better because, ooh, that looks great. And that looks like something I'd want to feel or be or look like. And I save it to some sort of board. And then what happens? Nothing, because that's just what it is. It's just like watching a show. You're not actually doing anything. You're not actually moving you're not moving the needle anywhere. So go on Pinterest, Canva, wherever you want to go. Make a mood board. Make a dream life, a dream 2020. No. Make a dream 2024 board and really be conscious and decisive and intentional about what you put on there. Like, really, really focus on what is the vibe that I want to bring with me into 2024, and then put that on and have it be the things where you can go on there every day and be like, oh, I'm moving closer to these amazing goals. And you can even make like different boards for each section if you want, and you can also add to it throughout the year. Just don't bombard yourself, because this isn't about doing what we've done with Pinterest our entire lives, but to actually see some of this manifest. And another amazing rule that I think is one that I've actually not been as good as in 2023 as I have been previously, or just overall. And that is having a daily self-care routine, a daily self-care thing or treat that you do for yourself that makes you feel just better about yourself, more in your feminine energy, more in your best self, essentially. For me, it's deciding to take more time to do my skincare and to do my makeup. So putting on a good podcast where I'm learning something in the background, and in the morning or at night, it seems for me it's more about taking the time for skincare at night. But then in the morning, instead of being rushed and having 5-10 minutes to do your makeup and pack the rest of your makeup that you're going to need throughout the day and then run out the door feeling really rushed and like, ugh. For me, it makes such a difference when I actually take the time. And the one thing I've noticed throughout 2023 is like, I keep telling myself, I'm so busy. And it's true. But I could have time if I took the time. That's an important thing for me. So I need you to think of what is one thing that would just make you feel more like your best self. And there may be like resistance and excuses coming up when you think about this, but you really need to lean into, no, this is something that I'm doing for myself and my best self. And of course, there's a difference if you are 17 or 22 watching this, or if you are 35 or 40 and maybe you have kids and you have more responsibilities. But we also need to recognize where, because I've had my busiest year this year in 2023, but it's so important to recognize, like, if I'm not doing these things for myself and I feel like shit, who am I punishing here, right? Like, if I come up with an excuse for it, or if I don't do these rules that I set out for myself, who am I punishing? Myself. No one else is going to cry about me not doing it. Just like I'm not going to cry if you choose to not do one of the rules, or if you're going to choose to just kind of slack on it. Guess who's just not going to get the results then? Now, another fun thing is your diet. Just like in 75 Hard, you need to choose a diet and you need to stick to it. But I would say if you're not happy with your body, I wouldn't choose the same diet, obviously, that's super close to what you're already doing. Like, do something that you know you need to do. You know what I'm saying? For me, this is going to go back to something that is an overall theme for me doing 2024 and 75 Her. It is going to be about choosing luxury and choosing quality. And choosing to not overindulge or not always need to be having a treat or escaping, so to speak. So being present with the things that you choose, and again, choosing quality over quantity. So one way that is going to look for me is I am not in any way at any time during the entire year. Now, this is just 75 days for you, but for the entire year for me, my goal is to not drink any alcohol or eat any bad stuff at home by myself. If I do choose to do any of these things, it'll be at an event with my friends at a social thing. And again, I'm not planning on doing this too often, so it's obviously not going to be a very big part of my life. And at the same time, I need to be very mindful. And that's the thing about presence and being present and choosing quality. So if I'm hosting something, I'm having friends over, instead of just, eating in large quantities and then also watching a movie after and having more wine and more chips, more chocolate, more everything bad and just feeling awful after, choose to maybe make a dish, make serving sizes, and choose something that actually feels different than from what you normally would eat. Don't order out, don't do junk food. Make something that makes them feel appreciated and that makes you feel better. Take more time the night before in the morning to prepare something that could be ready. And then also for me, because I live in a very, very small apartment, it matters to me that I need to do everything on my own because they can't help me because there's just not that much room in my kitchen. So choosing to maybe buy, I love macaroons and it does feel very luxurious to me. And it makes me feel like Blair Waldorf. I'm not going to lie. I want to eat them in a tub. Doing something like that and then maybe having 2 bottles of really, really nice wines instead of it being 5 bottles of shitty wine. And just always kind of by default because maybe your friends don't care about it and they're used to literally eating ramen and whatever. Not hating or anything. Choosing stuff like that is something that is you telling yourself, this is the kind of person I want to be. This is how I want to feel. And then you choose to be really present in that when you're doing that. And then it's obviously for me going to be, I need to stick to, because I'm also doing the fitness program, I need to stick to a certain amount of protein and a certain amount of, I'm counting all my macros really throughout the year. I'm meal prepping out of my weeks and I'm going to be very on point because it's really important for me that I want to have this transformation in my body, but I'm not really up for not drinking at all. I just don't want to do it at home by myself. And I also don't want to go out, you know what I mean? It needs to be experiences and new things and more quality and things that I will really appreciate. So you need to figure out for yourself how that looks like for you. So a couple of other rules that you can make your own a little bit is every Sunday or once a week, you need to do a weekly routine that focuses on your place and yourself. So, how can you clear your past week, and how can you set yourself up for a new great next week? How can you take care of yourself on that day? For a lot of us, it just kind of defaults into Sunday. We can do a deep clean of our apartment, and we can do grocery shopping, we can meal prep, we can do a little like hair mask, face mask, do an like everything shower, change the sheets, do laundry, stuff like that, and really set ourselves up for a great next week and have all of those things done. And then maybe take that night to yourself or with your family to really just relax and like let that sink in. One thing I do like to do, but I'm also a spiritual girly, is I like to take incense and clear out my place and my crystals, and I pull a couple of cards for my next week because it just kind of grounds me and it sets me up for a new energy. The next and last rule is every day you need to journal. And it is a game changer. There are so many ways to journal, and you can go on YouTube and just write journaling prompts, even shadow work prompts. Maybe you want to do like themes throughout. But it is, let me tell you, when you're trying to better yourself, it is one of the best things to be able to look back on and see your progress, see how your mind freaking works when you dedicate to something like this. Because it is so powerful to see your changes in the way that you're writing about stuff, even seeing patterns and triggers that keep coming up, because then you obviously know what to work on. And you can decide whenever you want to do this yourself. But a really great and powerful way could be in the morning to ask yourself, what is one way that I can best show up as her today or for her today? Because the truth is, every freaking day is different. So maybe you have a new thing on that day or in that week that's really important to you, or where you feel nervous about something. Let's say you have a presentation you need to do at school or at work, and it's something where you normally feel very nervous, you feel very timid and shy. It can be really powerful to say, her that I see in my head that I'm working to become is my alter ego. And today I'm going to decide to step into her. I'm going to decide that I am going to show up different. I am not going to cower to my fear. I am going to look it straight in the face, and I'm going to show up more tall and be seen, and I'm not going to be afraid. I'm going to do it, and I'm going to be proud of doing it. That is one thing I learned from the 75 Hard book that Andy wrote, that honestly, what I'm telling you for experience, this worked. I would not say a lot in class for a while. When I started doing that, because he talks about using either listening to your bitch voice or your boss voice. So I'm going to need you to tap into your girl boss voice. And whenever you have one of these things, or in the moment before you need to step into a situation, you need to ask yourself, am I going to listen to my little bitch voice, my past version, or am I going to step into my girl boss right now? And when I'm telling you, in the moment, sometimes it would be just raising my hand to say something. And that semester, I fucking dominated, I'm just saying. And it was because I started telling myself, I need to say something at least 10 times in this class today. And so I would just keep raising my hand, because in my head, I was like, really, bitch voice? That's how you want to leave today? And I'd be like, fuck no. You know what I mean? And it can be used in so many different ways. And I've used this in other ways, where like job interviews and stuff like that. And another tool we can really use for this can also be affirmations that you can find on YouTube. You can do so many different things to really rewire your subconscious. However, that's exactly what we're going to get into in the next video, because otherwise it will be too long and it's just too much. It's too many things. It's too in depth. And I need you to do these things and not get overwhelmed. But affirmations can just be really, really, really empowering to either listen to, but also honestly to throughout the day, say it to yourself. Like say stuff like, well, she is talking about who you want to become. She is worthy of love. And first and foremost, she loves herself so much. She's a woman getting back out there, trying again. And she's showing up this time as her highest self. She has her boundaries in check. She understands now how amazing that feels. She's enjoying life. She's admitting to herself she doesn't want to be average anymore. She wants to experience more. She wants to be better. And so she isn't going to pretend anymore. She goes to more coffee shops and more places to do her work instead of sitting at home. She's going out into the world. She's doing what she knows empowers and motivates her. And the reason why this can be so powerful and motivating and inspiring to yourself is because what you need to recognize first and foremost is you've already built a character. And the reason why you want to change is because you're not happy with the character anymore. And that's because you're not understanding that there's something called character development. Like, let's talk about Chuck Bass, Brooke Davis, all the icons, okay? They all start off as one person and they end up in season like 6 or 7 as a completely different character because that's what they're supposed to. You're supposed to too. I'm supposed to too. We've just been so used to being the same person, having the same habits, having the world around us. And that's what we're going to talk about in another video as well, our environment, because it is so hard to change in a world where everything around us looks the same. So you're going to need to find a new environment. You're going to need to show up different for things to change because it starts with you, because your reality is already being mirrored back to you. So by now you have a lot you need to go do, and you have to do it. Okay? You need to do it. And I need you to get on my TikTok and tell me that you're actually committing to 75 her. And I will be posting more about that as well on there. And I will, of course, link all the info in my bio about that. And essentially, in the next video, which will probably be posted within the next week or so, I will be talking about the rebuilding phase, which is all about designing our character. It's tools that we need to do. And again, I just thought that it was too much to keep going about this in just one video, because I really want you to do the decluttering work and making space and then understanding the rules and really taking them in. And then we're going to talk about the ways to design your new character. So hopefully when you come back next week to see that video, you have a Pinterest board and you have decluttered your space and you've done a lot of this work, so you feel really empowered and motivated to do this, because I am empowering myself right now. Like, I am so, let me tell you, the reason why I know that I'm going to do this time is because I have the same freaking feeling that I did when I really wanted to lose weight. And it's that feeling of, I have literally had it with myself. I have had it with feeling like a victim or feeling disempowered, because the truth is I am such a powerful creator and manifester in this world, and so are you. And I need to realize that for myself, because I make my own happiness, and so many things can change. And I am so grateful for where I live and all the opportunities that I have. And I realized that with my body back then, where I was like, who is deciding that I need to be fat? Why am I doing this to myself when I can literally just change it? And it sounds so easy, and change is not easy, but it is just a set of habits that you created into being your identity. So we can change that by new habits, and going into doing that daily action, we are rewiring our entire subconscious into becoming a new person. So here's to the new year. Here's to your new identity and your amazing life glow up, and mine too. And I will see you next week. And thank you so much for watching my first YouTube video, and bye.